At dawn, the river mist drifted like a pale spirit across the water. The people of Obakiri village stirred to life, fishermen mending nets, women rinsing calabashes, children chasing crabs along the muddy bank. The river was their mother, their song, and their judge. In this village lived Eramina, a young woman known for her calm spirit and gentle speech. She could listen to a current and tell when rain would fall, or hear the wind and know when a storm hid behind the hills. The elders said the river spirits favored her. But in Obakiri, envy flowed as easily as water. Doba, a proud hunter, had long boasted that Eramina's wisdom was witchcraft. When his nets failed and his traps broke, he said it was her doing. And when he saw her helping the old and speaking kindly to strangers, his jealousy deepened, for the people trusted her more than they feared him. One evening, as the sun sank and painted the water gold, Doba went to the river's edge. He dropped a black feather into the current and whispered a lie to the wind. "Let the people believe she has betrayed the river." The next morning, the current carried his lie. Fishers came back with empty baskets, the river level fell, and whispers began, "Eramina has angered the spirits." But deep beneath the rippling surface, the true spirits of the river stirred. They had heard Doba's false words, and truth began its journey to rise. A serene river village at dawn with morning mist, people working by the riverside, women washing, fishermen mending nets, children playing. In the foreground, a calm young woman in traditional river attire, Eramina, gazes at the flowing water. The river glows faintly, hinting at hidden spirits beneath the surface, subtle light shapes or reflections suggesting presence. Realistic African setting, soft golden light, mystical mood. Now, as truth begins to stir and Eramina faces accusation. "You said the accusation." By midday, the market of Obakiri was alive with the sound of trade, the slap of fish against baskets, the murmur of bargains, and the distant hum of drums from the shrine. But beneath the noise, suspicion coiled like a snake. Women who once greeted Eramina with warmth now drew their wrappers tight when she passed. Old men muttered into their cups of palm wine. Even the children, once drawn to her stories, began to avoid her gaze. Doba watched from the shade of a palm tree, a smirk hidden behind his gourd of drink. His lie was working. That evening, the village priest, Elder Ogolo, summoned everyone to the riverside. The people gathered as the last light faded from the sky. The river lay dark and still, as if listening. Elder Ogolo's voice carried over the water. "Our river grows angry. Fish flee. Nets break. Someone among us has brought offense to the spirits." The crowd murmured. All eyes turned toward Eramina. She stepped forward, her voice steady despite the weight of fear. "I have done no wrong, Elder. I honor the river as my mother." But Doba raised his hand, shouting, "She speaks with spirits not meant for mortals. She whispers to the water at night. She cursed my traps." Gasps rippled through the people. Eramina looked at him, not with hatred, but sorrow. "You lie, Doba. And the river knows it." The priest lifted his staff. "Tomorrow, at sunrise, the river shall judge. The one who speaks false shall not escape its truth." A hush fell. The spirits had been invoked. That night, while the villagers slept, the river whispered to the moon. The current thickened with unseen movement. The spirits were rising, preparing to unveil deceit. A tense riverside evening in an African village. Villagers gathered under twilight as the elder priest raises a carved staff near the dark river. Eramina stands calmly before the crowd, illuminated by fading sunlight, while Doba points at her accusingly. The atmosphere is charged with fear and mystery. Faint glowing ripples on the water suggest spirits listening. Realistic, cinematic, mystical tone. "Would you like me to?" The river's judgment begins, where the spirits start to reveal the truth. "You said the river is awake now, and truth begins to move beneath the surface." Judgment begins. Dawn came with a quiet no bird dared to break. Mist clung to the riverbank, thick and silver, swallowing the canoes and palm trees in ghostly light. The villagers gathered again by the river. No one spoke loudly. The Omu drum sounded once, deep, slow, echoing like a heartbeat. Elder Ogolo stood at the water's edge, staff in hand. "Today," he said, "the river shall test words. The one who lies will find no footing on her waters." He motioned for Eramina to step forward. She walked barefoot across the cool mud. Her white cloth glowed faintly in the mist, and the sound of the current grew softer, as though the river itself waited. "Speak your truth," said the elder. Eramina knelt. She dipped her hands into the water, and the current swirled around her fingers. Her voice came steady, low, carrying like the breath of dawn. "River Mother, I have never cursed your children. I have done no harm. If I have lied, let the water take me." The river rippled, calm and bright. A single fish leapt from the surface, silver, alive, and vanished. Then Doba stepped forward, chest raised. He looked at the crowd, then at the river. "I am the wronged one," he declared. "She used the spirits against me. If I lie, let the water drown me." He bent and touched the water. The surface hissed, not with foam, but with sound, like whispers moving through reeds. The mist thickened. From beneath the water, faint lights began to rise, pale blue and green, curling like smoke. Gasps rippled through the villagers. Elder Ogolo's staff trembled in his hands. "The river answers," he whispered. And then, the current turned dark. A wave surged suddenly, striking Doba's legs. He stumbled, trying to step back, but his foot sank deep into the mud, as if the earth itself gripped him. Eramina looked on, tears in her eyes, whispering, "Truth, come forth." The spirits were not yet done. The river had only begun its judgment. A misty dawn by the river, villagers watching solemnly. Eramina kneels by the water, her white cloth glowing faintly in the mist as she touches the river. Across from her, Doba stands defiantly, but his legs are caught by dark swirling water. Ethereal blue-green lights rise from the river, forming faint spirit shapes. Feel sacred and tense, with fog, rippling reflections, and dawn light filtering through palm trees. Would you like me to continue with Scene 4, The Spirits Speak, where the river's truth takes full form and reveals Doba's lie? You said spirits speak. The river roared softly, not with anger, but with purpose. The mist shivered. Then came a sound, not human, not wind, a deep, humming voice that seemed to echo from every drop of water. The villagers froze. Even Elder Ogolo bowed his head. From the surface rose a figure of light, woven from current and mist, a spirit in the form of a woman, her body shimmering like moonlight on moving water. Around her, smaller shapes danced, the river's children, flickering between fish and flame. The spirit spoke, her voice layered like many tones at once. People of Obakiri, your hearts have grown clouded. You doubt the one who listens, and trust the one who deceives. Her gaze turned to Doba. He fell to his knees, trembling. You sent lies upon my water, she said, and they reached me. You cast a feather of darkness and spoke false against the innocent. The people gasped. Some stepped back in fear, others began to weep. Doba stammered, "Mercy, River Mother, mercy. I only wished." The spirit's light flared. You wished to be honored, but you shamed the truth. You poisoned the trust of your kin, and you would let the river starve to lift your pride. The water surged up around him, not drowning but holding, binding him in a cage of shining current. He screamed, but no one moved. The spirit turned to Eramina, her voice now soft as ripples. Daughter who listens, your heart is clear. You have kept the song of the river alive. Eramina bowed, tears falling. Mother, I am your child. Let your peace return. The spirit lifted a hand of light. The dark water cleared, fish leapt again in silver arcs. A soft rain began to fall, sweet, clean, forgiving. When the people looked again, Doba was free, trembling, soaked, and silent. The river had not taken his life, only his voice for a time. Elder Ogolo raised his staff. Villagers kneel or in the people's memory. We'll bring this folktale to its final flow, where peace returns and truth takes root in the hearts of the river people. The river's silence. Days passed after the judgment, and the river ran calm once more. Fish filled the nets, bird how the water had spoken. Eramina weaved baskets, and singing softly by the shore. She did not boast of her innocence, she simply lived it. The people, humbled by what they had witnessed,